Okay. It is a craziness in my house. All the girls are awake, but I was chatting with my husband. Hey, Millie, can you turn the lights on? I was chatting with my husband. Oh, the lighting is terrible. There we go.
No comment.
And I was watching my girls eat some sausage, and I was like, he said, how was your workout? And I was like, oh, it didn't work out because, again, I'm going through the reboot. So we're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about why the reboot, because I will tell you this. I'm not feeling 100%. I mean, I'm feeling good, but I'm hungry. I'm not going to lie. And then my babe, my brilliant husband said something. And he said, if you don't win your morning, you don't win your day. I was like, well, what does that mean? Okay, so we're going to do a bonus video for the morning. Babe, what does that mean? If you don't win your morning, you don't win your day. Hey, girls, we're trying to be inspirational here. Shh.
There is no try. There's only we're not doing it or we're doing it.
Oh, yeah. My husband says it all the time. We don't try. You do it or you don't do it. So
Pretty sure I didn't say that. I think Yoda said that.
Maybe Yoda said that. Okay.
But we've learned that a lot from our CEO, Brian Underwood.
Okay, so walk me through. What is, if you don't win your morning, you don't win your day? What does that mean, babe?
To me, I think it's pivotal. It's one of those, I would say it's the cornerstone habit of everything. So if people win their morning, they'll win their day, hands down. And so if you win your morning, your rest of your day will be set up for success because you've already established some momentum. Momentum is the hardest thing to create. But once you have it going, it just flows.
That's so sexy. Win your morning, win your day. What does your morning look like? Not all of the details because my husband is very detailed, but what does it look like for you to win your morning in a broad spectrum for people?
Well, people have to figure out what that is for them. Like everybody's definition of success is different.
Right.
So first you have to establish what is your why, what is your definition of success, what is it, why do you do what you do? So for me, it hasn't always been this way, but since I've gotten to come home, we're going on 2 years now that I've been at home with the family,
Yep.
which has been tremendous in so many different ways. But for me, winning the morning is getting the right mindset, having a heart of gratitude, knowing what I'm thankful for. I believe in meditation. Stephanie thinks it's so stupid, but I promise you, it's one of these things that you will only start to hear more about. And
It's called mindfulness.
It's pretty funny because if I were to look back on when I was growing up,
I have a challenge with that.
I was extremely angry. Like I had anger issues growing up for so many different things.
Actually, all until even into us
competitive.
dating. I mean, there were times where you would lose your temper, right?
I would. I mean, I remember when you were pregnant with Amelia.
Yep.
And you came home, you were gone, you weren't answering your phone.
Yep.
She was just about to have the baby, and the doctor said you need to be resting.
Right.
And she decided to go shopping to go get groceries. She came walking in with 8 bags of groceries, carrying them all in. And I said, where have you been? What is going on? Like, I was nervous. I was scared. It was our first kid. And then this is back when we drank milk, but you had a gallon of milk. You set it on the counter, and I was like, where were you? How are you? Oh, no, it was our second.
It was our second.
So sorry.
It was our second child.
It was Emery, who was just about ready to come out because Amelia was a tiny baby.
And she was sick.
She was super sick. She had this extremely high fever. And I remember now. Thank you.
Yep.
So anyways, you put the gallon of milk right there on the countertop, and you went in to check on Amelia, and I was putting away the groceries, and the milk falls off the counter.
And
it
explodes.
All over the house.
All over our house. Like kitchen,
on the
ceilings,
down the hallway. Like I'm looking exactly where I remember.
Crazy.
It was an explosion of milk.
And you lost it.
And I said, are you kidding me? And I punched the refrigerator.
And up until yesterday or 2 days ago when we got a new fridge, the dent was still in the refrigerator.
There. So for me, mindfulness is so important because it helps me to be in tune with myself of really everything that's going on. So a lot of you can't even imagine what it's like to live in a household with a pretty amazing, dominant, like a wife that is competitive and truly inspirational, and to have 4 daughters. Like,
Steve needs some mindfulness
to keep myself in check.
But you think that's super important because I watch him every morning, and he would say, if you win the morning, you win the day. So he gets up early. He does his mindfulness. He loves his massage chair. He goes to the gym. He has this whole checklist of things he does. Now, we have the opportunity to stay home and work. So our time frame is different. So self-development. But that's something that even before he stayed home when he used to have to be. Can you hear our children? Yes.
Can you hear it?
But before, when you used to work, you had to be out the door and at work walking in at 8 o'clock in the morning. He just shifted. He had to get up at 5 o'clock. I mean, you got up early to do it. And so he's done this for a long time. I've seen greatness in you, babe, and even your attitude. So he said that this morning, but I say all of that because I wanted to talk about the reboot real quick, because I was kind of going, oh, I don't feel the greatest. And I said, maybe I could coach people if they didn't want to do the full 60 hours. They could do 2 days, right? They could do one 24-hour, then later in the month do another 24-hour. And then he was like, you're defeating the purpose, Stephanie. Like, that's not the point of this, because I didn't realize how long. The word is glycogen. I need you to understand something. We aren't experts, but we've been able to sit with the experts, learn from the experts. It's no different than self-development. The more you learn, the more you listen, you just become like those people. You pick up words, right? So you told me it takes approximately that long to get...
everybody's body is different.
Right, but it takes a certain amount of time to get all of that out of your system, out of your muscles, right?
Yep.
Until you go into seriously stored burning fat mode. And if you can get there, you've got, like, when you go to sleep, you could have a total of 12 hours where you're burning stored fat. And honestly, for the 60-hour reboot, you could burn an entire pound of fat, approximately. Everybody's different, right?
I mean, I pulled up some stats to kind of help, because I was running you through kind of why we do what we do.
Right.
Do you want me to go into that?
Yeah, I want him to teach you, because I thought this was super powerful. I did a video with one of the coaches in the Reboot private Facebook group a little while ago, and he really taught me about calories, because what happens is a lot of people do keto, low carb, high fat, and they jump on into eating a ridiculous amount of fat. What happens is they don't have enough restrictive calories, which causes a plateau. Am I correct with that?
Like a deficit.
Right. And so they're eating too many calories. While they're eating really high fat, moderate protein, low carb, their body's not burning enough. So you tell me.
It's so easy. Like,
right.
I mean, we see this often where people are like, well, I upped my fat intake,
right,
but they didn't really change their carbohydrate intake.
Right.
And they may be eating a lot of protein, and they're not tracking their calories.
Right.
And it's so easy to consume 1,200 calories at a meal. And if you're eating 3 times a day, I mean, for most people, you're already over your caloric intake. So
what does caloric intake mean?
I mean, your calories.
Your calories. How much food you're eating. Yes.
So that's why, I mean, you have to find what works best for you, but sometimes the best thing that you can do is use an app like MyFitnessPal just for a day or 2 days.
Or a week. We did it for a good chunk of time until we understood what to eat.
I did it for a year while I was.
And now you're back to doing it. Right.
I'm back to doing it because I'm curious. Like, it's so, like, what I love about the Reboot is it helps you realize how many things are just habitual.
Right.
And so what I mean by that is, like, you don't even realize sometimes when you just go to the pantry to grab a handful of macadamia nuts that was just 500 calories.
Right.
Or you go and you add extra butter to your vegetable. Like, fat is amazing in so many different ways. Sometimes people eat too much of it.
Right.
And then...
Actually, that was a common question. I had somebody say, hey, when you get to the end of your day and you haven't reached your fat intake, do you just go grab some fat bombs? I used to teach people that way because that's how I understood it. And now what I'm learning is, first of all, I did a video this morning about listening to your body. If you're not hungry, you don't need to eat. 2, you don't need to stuff yourself with fat. If you're not hungry, you might not have met the exact macros, right? But you don't want to go stuff some fat bombs in your mouth because you're trying to get more fat in your day. So it is important to track your food just to get visually where you're going. And eventually, if your goal is fat loss, you're going to have to restrict calories while eating high fat, moderate protein, low carb. Okay.
So we were kind of talking about BMR, basal metabolic rate.
Right.
And so, like, how many calories your body will just burn if you just sat on the couch all day, watched movies.
Right.
Your body will, because it takes energy to just function, the heart.
So everybody's body burns a certain amount no matter what.
I mean, think
everything
about
you
that.
do.
Like, if you had to tell yourself to breathe, how stressful that would be. Like, but your body naturally does it.
Right.
So it requires energy to do those kind of things.
Right.
And so you can just Google a BMR calculator to figure out, to the best of your ability, to like what your BMR is. But your body has stored glycogen. It's either found in the muscles or in the liver. This is not me saying this. This is
learning.
This is what I've learned from Keto
yes.
Reboot coaches and
yes.
from scientists, from doctors. This is why we do the Keto Reboot. For so many different levels, like people want to tap into that stored fat, right? So the way that you do it is you have to get through your glycogen first.
Right.
And so there's two ways that it's typically stored, liver and in your muscle. Muscle holds a majority of it.
Yep.
And everybody's level of how much they store, it's dependent on their body size and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what it says, and this is Charles Poliquin, I really like this dude, but he says that muscle glycogen can provide 1,400 to 2,000 calories. Liver glycogen provides anywhere from around 400 calories. So if you're looking at that, just say it's anywhere from 1,800 to 2,400 calories that your body's storing for glycogen use in your liver and in your muscles.
So
that's why we do the Reboot. That's why we drink pure therapeutic
because you want to get that
ketones.
Out.
Because what it does is your body has to use up the glycogen, right? And so what typically happens with fasts or things like that is it goes after the muscle.
Right.
And the great thing about ketones is it preserves
ketones preserve muscle. So what I hear you saying in my non-medical terms, because I can't explain it that way.
Medical terms.
No, besides this guy reading this, is I understand that your body stores a certain amount of glycogen, but in order to get down to your fat burning mode, you need to get that out. That's what the Reboot does.
Yep.
So the Reboot, in a certain amount of time, and everybody's different when they make the switch, when your body starts going into that fat burning mode, is you've got to get that out. Hence, while we do the Reboot.
Yep.
But the reason that doing the Reboot and even drinking these pure therapeutic ketones, because ketones preserve muscle, correct? And ketones help with even, oxygen intake and all of those things, correct? And so when doing that, when I get the glycogen out, when you get the glycogen out, that goes into fat burning mode. Some people go in earlier than others.
Exactly.
But out of the Reboot. So tomorrow when we're all done with the Reboot, you're not going to go and binge on whatever you want. That's when you go into eating better, right? So
well, here's the other cool thing about that too is that when you're done with the Reboot, what's really cool is you've got a new awareness. In my opinion, like you've really established some new. It's like a new paradigm almost of like how much I was eating before and how much of it was just out of habit compared to what your body really needs. So that's why this is so cool to check into the Metabolic Boss that we talk about every single month. To figure out kind of like where I'm at, how I'm doing, all those things. I mean, look at this right here. Like this plate, I love this plate. It's got bacon and sausage.
It's actually so leftover, so I didn't have to make it.
From the kids.
I warmed it up for the girls.
But like, if you think about how easy it would be just to go and grab that and to eat it. I'm now consuming, I do time restricted eating, so I'm not going to eat my first meal until around lunchtime and then be done. So I've got a window of when I eat. And I actually do I've got some major goals that
He does have major goals. His birthday is August 11th, and he's going to be in the best shape of his life as his goal.
And I think you're starting to believe in me now.
I actually do believe him because he's stuck to his goals quite well.
But I would just say this, like, know what you want, but for me, I'm creating a lifestyle. So this isn't like a quick fix. Like I'm eating healthy foods. I'm doing my workouts.
Which we've done for 3 years, but you've stepped it up.
Right. I just took it to the next level because I wanted better results. Like I think about this. People who hit midlife crisis, I'm not there. Actually, I don't even care. If you consider me to be a midlife crisis, awesome. Every day should be a crisis to fight for the best self that you want to become.
Ooh.
So like I don't want to go backwards. I just want to move forward in everything that I do. And so every day there should be a point of resistance or tension that you're facing, that you're hitting against yourself. And the only way you're going to grow is if you go through it or you face it.
I mean, holy moly, my husband is brilliant. So I think that's awesome, babe. I think you're amazing.
Thanks.
He's on an amazing journey.
Be a better version of myself.
Well, he was just sitting here saying greatness, and I was like, we need to share that. So I just want to encourage you, today's the last day of the Reboot. Keep going because you're going to tap into that stored fat, right? And then after that, we're going to come out of the Reboot, and you're going to do one of two things. You're going to go, Stephanie, what do we do next? You need a 5 or 10 day experience of the product. Right. Like we drink the Keto Max every day. And then I would challenge you to pay attention like portion sizes. You don't need to eat as much. This is going to help you, like Steve said, pay attention to your eating out of habit. And you're going to go after better. So like you've done this. Don't waste it. Don't go binge on a pizza, right? And so what he has done is he has taken his calories and he's restricted them. So he's not only doing the fast or the Reboot, but now he's going into in order to lose more fat or to gain muscle. He's been in the gym a ton, but he's also restricted his calories a little bit, which helps you
Well, I wouldn't say a ton.
No,
I found something that's a really good habit for me. So I walk to the gym. It's exactly a mile. I do a 30-minute lifting session and I walk back. So that's 1 hour of total movement.
Right.
For some people, you just may have to make the decision to just get up and go on a walk.
Right.
Like go walk around the block, take the first step, and you're having success just in making the decision and then going to do it.
Right.
I mean, you think about, I have one more thought.
Yeah, go for it. I think this is great.
I think about
you should keep
food
speaking.
in general. And the reason why I've learned a lot from Dr. Dominic D'Agostino around time-restricted eating and what you put in that window.
So some people would say intermittent fasting, but you're calling it, Steve calls it time-restricted eating.
Time-restricted eating, I just like it because that's what Dr. Dom calls it.
Yeah.
So intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, whatever you want to call it. The reason why I like that is think about it. Like the human body hasn't had, like if you go back to the day of Jesus, right?
Yep.
Jesus didn't have refrigerators and he didn't have agricultural farming like we have today, like on mass producing quantities of food.
Right.
So food came, it wasn't, I mean, he took 5 fish, fed 5,000 plus all the ladies and kids, craziness.
Right.
But I think about it this way, like, to me, that meant time-restricted eating.
Right.
There were periods of time where for so many centuries, people didn't have the option
access
to eat 6 meals
whenever
a
they
day,
wanted to eat.
even to eat 3 meals a day. So I feel like we've kind of flipped things, and if you look around, like I feel like that's probably why childhood obesity is growing. I mean, food's gotten cheaper, they've thrown in more sugar, like all of that stuff.
It's
There's
just
so
a way
many
to
great
make it
documentaries
cheaper.
out there.
Right.
But I would just say this, like, know that you have more in you, and it doesn't require you to eat all of the time. Like you can feel so good when you're in a fasted state. Check out the documentary, The Science of Fasting. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of dry, but the science and the data and the stories that are in it are unbelievable.
Yes, it's called The
Watch
Science
The
of
Magic
Fasting
Pill. That's all
on
about the
Netflix.
food.
We watched The Magic Pill on Netflix. Super, super great.
So I would just encourage you with this thought. Like, write down what your goals are, where you want to be at the end of the year. If you set New Year's resolutions, awesome. Welcome back to them. Like, go back after your New Year's resolutions.
Well, that's why they do accountability.
I love the accountability for so many reasons. And then figure out why you do what you do. Like, why do you want to wake up early? Why do you want to go on your walks? Why do you want to become a better version of yourself? Know the reason why, and then it makes doing it just happens then. And so,
yeah, we just wanted to come on here and encourage you. I thought that was a lot of gold nuggets. I hope that was helpful. Own your morning, own your day, right?
So good.
Okay, continue on your reboot. We're going to come out of it. We're going to finish strong. It's going to be a great week. I hope you guys are all having a great day. And that's it.
You got this.
Thanks, babe. Talk to you later.